Hey everybody, it's Lloyd here on a Monday morning. Hope you had a great weekend, and I'm just stopping by briefly today for this week's version of our career development training snippet series. Say that three times quickly. But anyway, today's message, today's snippet is all about the power of writing. The power of writing. Those of you who have been around my training for a while know that there's nothing more powerful, in my mind, in building relationships than keeping in contact with people. Lots of ways to do that, obviously, but we're going to talk about one today that I think is the lost art. The lost art of writing a simple, personal, handwritten note. So let's talk about it for just a second. I think you'd have to agree that we live in a rather impersonal world these days, not just during COVID and not just because we have to social distance and wear masks and all of that stuff, but just in general. I think we live in a really impersonal world. So think about it for a second. Text versus conversation. Virtual meetings versus meeting live and in person with team. Webinars versus classroom. And there's one that particularly drives me a little bit crazy as it relates to our children and our grandchildren. It's screen time versus activity time. You know, virtual basketball, Madden football. I think you get the point, but it's pretty impersonal. So in business, how do we keep in contact with our customers and our circle of influence in this contactless world? Some of the new words we're learning, right? Contactless world. Well, difficult, yes. Impossible? No, absolutely not. So here's a couple of the more obvious ways to keep in touch and to build relationships during COVID. Phone conversations, voice to voice contact with our friends, with our circle of influence, with our customers, with our database. Text, sending email campaigns like a monthly item of value campaign, like a monthly holiday greeting, like, well, there's so many reasons. Newsletters is a great way to put yourself out there for top of mind. But there's that lost art that I was talking about, maybe a not so obvious way to keep in touch with people, but so powerful. I want you to bear with me for just a few seconds so I can give you some statistics about personal handwritten notes. I'm not talking about writing a novel. I'm talking about keeping it short. I'm not talking about writing about business. I'm talking about personal. Always putting a business card in your personal note, which is part of the reason that we have that additional top of mind awareness when it comes to what we do for a living, but personal, handwritten notes. I truly believe this is one of the most powerful and most neglected forms of building a relationship with someone in your database, circle of influence, customer list. Think about the benefits. They're always read. Can you imagine getting a personal handwritten envelope from someone you know and tearing it up and throwing it in the waste can before you read it? Not going to happen. They're always read. The recipient knows it took a lot of time, your time, precious commodity of time, to write that note to them. It leaves a lingering impact. They're very hard to throw away. And I can show you my shoebox full of personal handwritten notes that I've received over the years that I just can't force myself to throw away. Now, yes, I know I'm a little different. Be careful what you say. But I do keep my personal handwritten notes because every once in a while, do you ever have one of those days where you kind of needed a jolt, somebody to just pat you on the back, tell you you're doing a good job? Uh, I pull out one of my personal notes or a couple of my personal notes, read them, and get encouraged, get rejuvenated to do more what I love to do. So they're very hard to throw away. And most always, they result in a response. Think about it. When's the last time you got a personal note from someone? You almost feel obligated to respond. And that's really crucial as we work through some numbers here this morning. So think about it. Small numbers result in huge dividends through the compounding process that we talked about a few times last week. But if you just were to write 2 notes a day, just 2 notes, that would be 10 notes a week. That would be 40 notes a month. That would be 120 notes a quarter. It would be 480 notes, personal handwritten notes, during the course of the year. Small 2 a day. Huge result, 480 notes a year. If 75% of those notes you write resulted in a response, you get 360 responses. If 50% of those responses resulted in a voice-to-voice conversation, you'd have 180 conversations during the course of the year as a result of 2 notes. If we get 1 lead for every 40 conversations, that's the statistic. So if we got 1 lead out of every 40 conversations, that's 5 leads. If we convert 3 of those 5 leads at, let's say, $4,000 per closing, that's $12,000 of additional income as a result of writing 2 personal handwritten notes a day. Not bad, right? So I'm going to encourage you. One of the hurdles people have with personal handwritten notes is, what do I write? It's really simple. I've got so many documents of sample personal notes that I'd just be thrilled to share with you. Here's just a couple of ideas. I found myself thinking about you today, so I thought I'd write a quick note. I tried calling you today, but I missed you. I just wanted to tell you that I was thinking about you and your family during these times. I don't know the last time I said this, but thanks. That's a really good one. And here's another one. Thanks for your business card today. Here's mine. I look forward to working with you. At any rate, they're available. All you've got to do is ask. So, Lloyd, where do I find note cards? I mean, I've never really looked for note cards, but where do I find them? So, if you've got a CVS near you, they've got note cards. If you've got a Hallmark store near you, they've got note cards. There's literally tons of places online where you can get note cards. Lloyd has note cards, a few extras, by the way, that I'd be happy to share with you. In fact, I'm going to make a deal. For the first 10 agents who watch this and say, I'd like 50 personal notes from you, I will give them to you. No cost. However, there is an obligation. The obligation is to use them and to follow up on every opportunity you have as a result of writing them. I can tell you, folks, having written a lot of notes over my career, it is powerful, simplistic, but powerful, especially in our contactless, impersonal, DC during COVID world. Try it in just minutes a day. Minutes. You could add at least $12,000 of additional income. Wouldn't it be great? It's my story, folks, and I'm sticking to it. So please ask for anything you've heard today. Ask for the documents of what do I say, sample personal notes. I'll make sure you get them. And if you really want to try it, ask me for 50 note cards to get started, and I'd be happy to give them to you. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me on today's snippet from Career Development on the power of writing. Have a great day. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.